Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? It's your girl Neek, and you're tuned in to Neek at Night. And I'm just going to make a very quick video. I'm not even going to be here for a super long time, but Abba and Preach literally destroyed the Tory Lanes website 36 hours later. And the whole time I was watching this video, I was like, clock it. Okay, I felt like one of the teenagers as I was watching this video. I'm like, right, exactly. Y'all feel me? Of course. Exactly. The whole time I was watching their video go line by line by line of what Tory's team allege is new evidence and them applying common sense and logic and destroying what they're presenting. I was like, exactly. And then at the end of them going line by line and basically telling why each thing they put forward was some BS, then at the end of it, they gave their synopsis and they were like, the only way that you come to the conclusion that it was Kelsey is if you bias. And they didn't, I don't think they said if you're slow, but I feel like I want to add the cherry on top and be like, yeah, and because you're slow. Or possibly because you don't like women. Either way, I was proud of the video. Now, I'm going to play just a little bit, not too much, just a little bit of the video because this was me the whole time. Clock it, clock it, clock it, clock it, clock that, clock this, clock that. They went through the medical reports. They went through the testimony. They went through the alleged claims of what the witness said. They went through line by line of what was being alleged and applied common damn sense to it, okay? And if you guys remember my video that I did where I talked a little bit about this, when I recapped the Tory Lanes and Meg Thee Stallion situation, because somebody came into my live talking about, so I'm not the only one who felt like that. Unforgettable. I'm like, did he watch my video? Low key, I felt like that too, but he said he did his research. I'm gonna believe he did his research, but I felt like he watched my video. But I could be delusional. So I wasn't gonna mention that, but you mentioned that. But anyways, so if y'all remember, I did a live 9 days ago, and a lot of the things that I pointed out in my live video, they're basically going through and pointing certain things out here. They are going line by line, and I'm just like, exactly. Right. I'm like, right. Ivy Flo said you could have been part of the research. I mean, perhaps, I don't know. But I feel like anybody who got common sense, you know what I'm saying, gonna come to that. But somebody said research could also include your video. I mean, I don't want to feel too full of myself. So I'm like, they've been on this YouTube thing for a minute. They be doing their thing. So I'm not gonna say that they got the research from me. Not gonna say that, but I felt like common intellectuals came to a common point of how, like, once you view the evidence, it's like, come on, you know? I was so proud that, you know, anyways, so let me just play a little bit of the video. Just a little bit of the video. Oops. Let me play just a little bit of the video because I was like, yes, exactly. The whole time. All right, hold on. Let me see if it's better to put up. Is it this one? Hold on. All right. Let's just get into a little bit of it. Again, go watch it. Go watch their video, okay? Go watch their video. Let me just play a little bit of the video.
Conclusions when they tested the gun. 1, when they tested the magazine, Tory Lanes' DNA was not on the magazine. 2, GSR was found both on Kelsey Harris and Tory Lanes. 3, and I think this is the part that fucks him a little bit, Tory Lanes' DNA wasn't conclusive for being on the gun, but 90% of the DNA they recovered from the gun itself is male. Why is this important? Only 2 people are alleged to have held onto that gun before the shooting. 1 is a female, 1 is a male. 90% of the DNA that is on the gun itself belongs to a male. Both the defense and the prosecution's DNA experts said they can't exclude or include Tory Lanes'.
Exactly. Clock it. So every time people be like, oh, Tory Lanes, his DNA is not on the gun. But then you realize that there was also the caveat that said that he could not be excluded either. There was also the fact, now, the only part that when they were talking about the gun part and they talked about the shots, they played the audio, they talked about the call. When they was going over what was being said on the call between Kelsey and Tory, that's where I felt like, did you see my opinion on that? Because it's given. But again, they did their research, whatever. The only thing that they did not talk about on this particular part was the part that it required. There was a gun expert that talked about it was required 8.5 pounds of force, okay? In order for it to go off, you needed to pull the trigger physically. It was not a hair trigger gun. It was not a trigger to where you accidentally touch it and it goes off. It was a particular gun that you need pull the trigger. Also, they went over in this video how Tory Lanes' team alleged that the pew pew and the fragments and all of that stuff went missing and everything like that. And they pulled up all the different receipts, all of the different reports. And I'm like, yes, stuff that I get tired. Like, I don't feel like rehashing this stuff every time there's a new media release. I'm like, I'm not about to keep on talking about this over and over and over again. The incident happened in 2020. The trial was in 2022. We're in 2025. Every time there's a new headline, y'all are not about to bully me to talk about Tory Lanes. Okay? All this weekend, there was people in my comments on different topics of videos talking about, oh, well, you didn't talk about this. You didn't talk about that. For the last 5 years, where have you been? A twin, where have you been? Twin, where have you been? Like, where do y'all think I'm going to change? And what do y'all think has been proven? Also, they talk about how the website conveniently left out certain things. They shaped a narrative, but did not include the full audio of Sean Kelly. Now, this is also what I pointed out on the blogs when this was released 4 days ago, okay? So when they released the audio of Sean Kelly, let me show you what I posted 4 days ago, because they just did their video today. This is what I talked about from the beginning, and they said verbatim, same shit that I was saying, okay? Let me pull up the post. So this was where they released the audio of Sean Kelly. Let's play it for y'all real quick and then show what I said before I ever saw I Been Preach video and how they pointed out the same thing. And I'm like, hello, somebody that got a brain, ding, 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 exactly. Okay, I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I just felt seen when I was seeing the video. I felt seen. Okay, I felt seen, and I felt like finally somebody that's not a low vibrational degenerate, not somebody that is just hanging off of Tory's sack, not somebody that's easily manipulated, somebody that I respect in media that always critically thinks and is logical. And I'm like, exactly. Exactly. Okay, exactly. So let's play this because I was like, period, when they said this. I'm gonna play this part. I'm gonna show y'all what I said, and then I'm gonna show y'all a piece of what they said on their video. So let me hold on, let's play it.
Then the gun, then the girl shoots it. So the driver's door's open.
You're seeing the girl shoot?
Can I help you?
Have a minute, please.
I think, is it this house?
Yes, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
So you see the girl doing the shooting?
I see what appears to be the girl standing here and shooting into the car. That's what it looked like to me. But it was dark, and I'm above, so... But then the guy gets out again from the back. Then...
All right, and then he says, but the guy got out from the back. He said it was dark. He said it appeared like she was shooting in the inside. And then the guy got out from the back. And then as soon as he said the guy got out from the back and was about to tell y'all Neanderthals what happened, what was tea with Tory, and what happened when he observed the guy get from the back, the audio gets cut. The audio gets cut. So that's what I said in the comments. Okay? So that's what I said in the comments. And this was 4 days ago. I said, why was the audio cut off when he said what happened when Tory got out the car? Oh, I know why. LOL. He said it appeared to be the girl, and what I meant to put in there, that shot inside the car. I said, in the court, this is what he said. He said the flash was by the girl, but saw Tory shooting everywhere. Why is the audio cut when he mentions Tory? Again, I know why, but y'all only need a little bit to get you going. Okay? Period. That's what I said 4 days ago. But before we go any further, I feel like my moderators is not handling business. Okay? Because we don't mind a little disagreement, but disrespect will be met with the block button. Okay? We don't have to hear your voices of the degenerates in the chat. We absolutely do not. Go over where the narrative suits you, where you easily manipulated and you going off of some bullshit. Okay? Go where that suits you to have a voice. You don't have a voice over here, okay? Baby, you don't. You don't have a voice over here. Go on, okay? Easily manipulated and you going off of... We got common sense and logic over here. Hold on, let me see. Hold on. Because the moderator says they are not handling business. Okay. They're not handling business over here. Hold on. Oh, here we go. There. Get out of here. Goodbye. Let's see who else. Okay. I'm gonna let a couple of y'all live because y'all didn't come disrespectful. You just came with your different opinion that you was manipulated and led to believe. But the people that came disrespectful got to step in. Okay, period. Now, let's go to Abba and Preach video where I'm like, listen, period. Hello. Clock it. Hold on. Let me find it. But hold on. I was so proud of them with this video. Like, for real. I was real deal proud. I'm going to stick to the rivers and lakes that I feel like talking about, okay? If I want to talk about gossip, guess what? I'm going to talk about gossip. If I want to talk about Tory Lanes and Meg the motherfucking Stallion, guess what? I'm going to talk about Meg the Stallion and Tory Lanes. If I want to talk about Diddy, I'm gonna talk about Diddy. I'm gonna stick to whatever I feel like talking about when I hit go live. Okay, you, child. Anyways, hold on. I had to talk to you later. But anyways.
Why do I think they're doing this? I think they're referencing the x-ray that happened the next day where the bullet fragments were removed. Because if you look at that one, that x-ray is not going to show because they already did surgery. It's gone. Much of evidence was never presented at trial. Tory Lanes' original trial counsel joined the case late, limiting the defense's ability to investigate these medical inconsistencies. What they're essentially alluding to is that Megan was never shot. Cool. How do you explain 3 surgeons doing surgery on her and saying that they removed bullet fragments? Are you saying surgeons making $500,000 a year?
All right, and not only that, but they also showed the x-rays, which over the last 3 years, I've showed you these x-rays many a times. Hold on. They showed the x-rays of the bullets in her foot. They showed the laceration. They showed all of those things. They showed where there was the x-rays that showed it, and they basically debunked the narrative that was being painted on there. They're like, this is an x-ray of her foot where you see she went to see an ER doctor. The ER doctor is only going to tell you what happens on the surface. Once you go into surgery, then the report of surgery is going to tell you the findings of surgery. Then the next doctor she saw was after the bullet fragments was removed, and they reported what happened afterwards. They literally went line by line by line debunking the narrative that was put on there. And like my thumbnail say, I was like, clock it. But let's get to what they said about Sean Kelly. Hold on one second. They talked about the evidence going missing. They talked about Sean Kelly. Oh, here we go, right here.
So you see the girl doing the shooting?
I see what appears to be the girl standing here and shooting into the car. That's what it looked like to me. But it was dark, and I'm above, so. But then the guy gets out again from the back.
Okay. Cuts right there. So we don't know what the fuck he says afterwards, but apparently this is the recording that says, see, the witness says that Kelsey shot, or the woman in this case, shot Megan.
Yeah, but he's also said that it was dark. And he said, and then the guy got out and it cuts there.
Critical thinking, ding, ding, ding. I'm like, that's what I said 4 days ago. Now, again, they just dropped this video today. That's what I literally said 4 days ago. I'm like, if they want to give convincing evidence and they want to prove their narrative, why are they manipulating the audio? Why are they not playing the full audio? Why does it cut off when he alludes to what maybe he saw with Kelsey, but then once I saw the little guy get out the car, then the audio gets cut? You know why. Because whatever followed doesn't fit the narrative that's being painted. Now, in addition to them talking about different things, now again, one thing that they left out is something that I brought up in my video when I did the Remy Ma thing at the airport. This is something that I talked about in my previous video that they didn't talk about, but it also supports how what they're saying now is impossible. That apology further to Kelsey through text. He's apologizing to Meg for what happened through text. He's apologizing to Meg for what happened on the phone. And he also in the jail call said the only person that this is going to fall back on is him. The only person that is going to get repercussions is him. Now, all of these things I've laid out in several videos. If you like to catch up, you can. But let me Google this the weapon thing real quick for y'all, real quick. you can. But let me Google where they go over what the firearm expert testified to in the trial. Okay, this was an article on Business Insider written by Taylor S. Mitchell, and they go over the details. So let's go down to where they talk about the firearm. So as you see right here, it says firearms examiner, however you say his name, with the LAPD said that the 8.5 pounds or force are needed to shoot this semi-automatic Luger caliber firearm that police found on the floorboard of the black SUV. The group was riding in that night of the incident. If you just tap the trigger, it won't fire. Okay. And again, this is not something new that's created to create a narrative. This was what was testified to in court in December 16th, 2022. Okay. What they're telling you guys or what they're coming up with is false. Okay. If you followed the trial, you followed the actual evidence and you didn't hang your hat on the inconclusive DNA that did not rule him out or conclude him. However, and you followed the other evidence, it does not make sense. It is not possible. It is not possible to fire 3 times and then he knock it out of her hand and then it goes off 2 more times. Okay. Both of the prosecution and the defense created a stipulation that agreed on that fact, that it was not a hair trigger weapon. But because they know that so many of you are not going to follow the true evidence and you are just going to hang on, oh, it said that he was inconclusive, so he didn't fire it. And then you're dismissing the fact that he said Kelsey didn't shoot Meg. On his own Instagram account, he said that he didn't know why they were arguing when he apologized on the jail call. He said he got too drunk or that wouldn't have happened, but he don't even know what they were arguing about. He also said in text messages to Meg that he was sorry. He also, you can see the demeanor of who was comforting her after the incident and all of that. It was his weapon as well. And the weapon, when he got out of the car, was under his seat. And this is a video, again, that I did 9 days ago. Now, go to Abba and Preach thing. And again, I'm not saying that he followed what I said or copied me in any way. I just think that great minds think alike. Okay? I think great minds think alike. And I think that they came to the logical conclusion like everybody else who has logic. And this is what they said in closing. So let me go back to the end and what they said in closing. And then we'll be out because this is a dedicated video to all the Tory stans. Every single time, and let me make this very abundantly clear, I will never apologize to Tory Lanes for shooting Meg the Stallion. You will never see me say, I'm sorry, Tory, unless there is a video of the incident that shows the pew pew in Kelsey's hand. You see Megan in the front. You see Tory struggling with the gun, and then you see a knockout. You will never, so stop asking. And also too, a pardon does not mean innocence. A pardon does not mean innocence. So a lot of people are advocating for the governor to pardon him. That just was Larry Hoover innocent when he got pardoned? Was NBA Youngboy innocent because he got pardoned? We seen the evidence against NBA Youngboy. We seen that Larry Hoover woo. So because they were pardoned, we seen what was even the other guy, Christie from the show, the white guy, Christie, whoever. Was he innocent because he got a pardon? So miss me with the, oh, he's going to get pardoned, so you're going to have to apologize. Pardon does not equal innocence. You're not getting an apology from me. Stop asking. You're not getting apology from me. I was in the court. I saw his demeanor. I saw what he said. I saw how things was testified to. I seen what his defense conceded to. I seen the issues that got brought up. I seen both sides. And the thing that he tried to present now as new, claiming, oh, this new bodyguard that worked for Kelsey, he said that he overheard a conversation that they were struggling for a gun. That is not a new theory. I talked about this in 2022. That was what their argument was in court. So because somebody new comes forward and says, oh, that they get to sign a statement and say the theory that they presented in court that the jury heard and thought was BS, the jury heard that argument. I talked about this in 2022 on my video where I played the audio of the shooting. I talked about this theory. But before, hold on, wait, let me show y'all that real quick. Hold on. Because the Tory stands make my blood boil. And they also make my blood boil because they think that they about to bully you into something. You ain't bullying me into a mother thing at all, period. Okay? And they always think if you have logic and common sense, oh, you was paid by Rock Nation. You could go through my bank accounts. Rock Nation ain't never gave me a dime. I've never talked to nobody that work at Rock Nation. My opinion is not bought and paid for, okay? I went in there thinking that everybody was full of it. Meg Thee Stallion, I had several videos prior to me going into that courtroom thinking that she was full of it, okay? And I wanted to see the evidence for myself. I went up there and I saw the evidence for myself, and the conclusion that I came to was the same conclusion that the jury came to as well. But let me show y'all this video that I shared on previous lives, okay? Where I talked about this in 2022, okay? You see how this background was full of clouds? You see that I was heavier? You see that this was me while I covered the case? If you see right here, it says 2 years ago when actually it was December 30th, 2022. So YouTube doesn't roll back to say 3 years until it actually hit the full 3 years. All right. So you can see this video I did December 30th, 2022, exclusive Tory Lanes gunshot audio. The audio that his team or the governor's Paloma is using in her point. Okay, let's show what I said in 2022, the theory that's supposed to be new. Let's hear it. Hey, what's up? It's night, and tonight I'm about to be dropping back to back receipts on what was played in court that determined Tory Lanes' fate. Now, a crucial part in this trial was the gunshot audio. Now, his defense tried to paint the picture that, Kelsey shot the gun first, and then after she shot the gun first, Tory got the gun from her in a struggle, and the gun went off, and all this and this and that. Well, there was an expert who was a gun expert, and he basically testified that it's impossible for the gun to go off in a struggle. This was a special gun that you needed 8.5 pounds of pressure to shoot it. Now, in the audio, you will see how, back to back the shots were, which eliminates the idea of this struggle for the gun and, this idea that was pushed out. Now, this is exclusive from us. A lot of people was wondering, in the gunshot, this is something that, again, I talked about this theory being presented in court. It's not new. So when y'all come and be like, oh, what you got to say about the guy saying that there was a struggle for the gun? Not a damn thing, because they presented this theory in court. They said this theory in court. And guess what the jury said when they heard from an actual gun expert that both of the defense and the prosecution agreed that the gun was not a hair trigger firearm? They said that theory don't make sense. Goodbye. You see the date? So when y'all come on my page and you're like, oh, talk about the new theory. It ain't a new theory. Stop telling me or trying to bully me to change my opinion on things that I saw for myself in the courthouse. Things that I saw presented. Theories that already have been brought to the forefront and laughed out of court. Y'all want me to, every time they throw something at the wall to see what sticks, you want me to run to my platform and be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, Tory. I can't believe that, this was already presented. Now, they didn't present it under the guise of, oh, Kelsey's bodyguard heard it. This was their theory. And this was also the theory that the previous counsel that y'all say worked for Rock Nation because she got the show Reasonable Doubt, the same theory that he lost was the same theory that she said wasn't gonna work. But yet all of these conspiracies, oh, Rock Nation framed him. Oh, she worked for Rock Nation, so, hold on one second. All right, my bad. Hold on one second. So hold on one second. How long? Oh, we've been on here for 30 minutes. I did not plan to be on here for 30 minutes. I was not trying to give that much time. All right. So, yeah. Audio, why didn't I hear Kelsey and Megan and them like arguing? It's because the audio was taken from somebody's ring inside their home. So, let me pull it up on the screen. Enough time did not go by for it to be none of that. It was consistent. Boom, 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 boom. The struggle for the gun, it goes off. Da-da-da-da-da. It's not enough time for any of that if you listen. But if you're listening with a biased mind, you don't like Meg Thee Stallion because she always twerking and all you see is she twerking and that's all she do. And you don't like her because she lied and said she didn't sleep with Tory when she really slept with him and woody woody whoop. And oh, she's a person. If you looking at it from that lens and you just don't like her and you can't objectively pay attention to the evidence that's actual evidence, then yeah, run with what narrative suits you. But one thing that you're not going to do is get me to change my mind and change what I think about anything, okay? I'm not changing it, okay? He get a pardon, I'm not changing it. They come up with another theory tomorrow and say, I said what I said. I said through the court. I listened to the evidence. I looked at you're not getting an apology. You're not getting a change. You're not nothing. It's not giving that. Please stop going under my videos thinking that you're going to get a change from me. You're not. And every single time that I hear y'all talk, I feel sad for women. And Meg Thee Stallion did herself a disservice by trying to protect him. And you know what I realized is if you are a black woman, you better pay attention to how it is being shaped. And when it comes to even the stuff with Diddy, stop protecting these motherfuckers. Okay? If they bop you in the eye, if they hit you, they nudge you, or whatever they do, you tell on them the first time. Stop cutting them slack. They do not care about you. They feel like you deserve it. You see how they think about the Diddy stuff. They feel like, oh, they deserved it. Oh, they had an ounce of fame. They was able to be in mansions. They deserved it. They feel that, look how they looking at you. They feel like you deserve it. You have any joy in your life. You have any money in your life. You have any success. They want you to be humble. So when you, God forbid, hopefully you're never in the situation, but if you do, take this as a teachable moment, and you bet not spare not ne'er nigga. I know I'm not. You do something to me, I feel a way, I'm telling on your ass. You act like a stalker. You make me feel weird. You keep contacting me. If I tell you don't contact me, I'm putting it on paper. You come up to me and you do something, I'm going to tell on you. Leave me alone. Period. Don't save them. Okay? Stop saving these men. Okay? If you don't look at this situation and think that you look at her. We know it's typical. I see body cam footage all the time. How many times do you see body cam footage of these body cam shows? And you see the girl with a black eye in her face and bruises, and she talking to the police. And she literally telling the police, he didn't hit me. How many times have we saw that on body cam in different situations where the girl would be purple by the eye, but lying to the police? How many times have we saw that? So what this tells you, never try to save their period. Period. But let me play the last part that I was trying to play of Abba and Preach. But if you have not listened to my video that I did 9 days ago, I did this video 9 days ago, and also pay attention to the videos that I did back in 2022. Pay attention to what I reported back when the trial was fresh on my mind and I had sat through it, and I was reporting basically what I heard, what I saw. Okay. But Leah, let me go to the end conclusion of Abba and Preach, and then we'll be out. Cause I didn't even want to spend 30 minutes on this, but y'all get the girl going. Y'all get the girl going.
I ended up going to look at the text messages he sent to Megan. It had the same energy. So it's like, how is the one man who didn't shoot nobody, who ended up in jail, the only one who feels sorry and doesn't feel aggrieved by nobody involved? That don't make sense. And you might want to believe it's about the cheating or whatever it is, but I genuinely think the only way you truly believe that is if you're biased. Within 5 minutes of when the shooting happened, she texted her bodyguard, help, Tory shot Meg. 5 minutes of the shooting. Now we go to the gun. And I think this is also a place where Tory's got a bit of a case.
All right. Oh.
Because when they did the testing, they had Tory Lanes' DNA expert in the state. And surprisingly, both of them came to the same conclusions when they tested the gun. 1, when they tested the magazine, Tory Lanes' DNA was not on the magazine. 2, GSR was found both on Kelsey Harris and Tory Lanes. 3, and I think this is the part that fucks him a little bit, Tory Lanes' DNA wasn't conclusive for being on the gun, but 90% of the DNA they recovered from the gun itself is male. Why is this important? Only 2 people are alleged to have held onto that gun before the shooting. 1 is a female, 1 is a male. 90% of the DNA that is on the gun itself belongs to a male. Both the defense and the prosecution.
All right, y'all can go to his video. They basically destroy that website. Okay, again, I don't want to play their whole video, But if you have intelligence, if you are logical thinking and you're not biased, you can see it for what it is. If a person is calling you and he's upset because he spilled the beans that he's sleeping with 2 women, he would have said that on the call. He doesn't say that on the call because he's trying to talk in code about what he did. Why are you apologizing to the shooter? And you the one in behind bars. Why are you on the jail call saying you don't even remember what y'all talked about? But yet people want you to believe that he's apologizing for spilling the beans about sleeping with 2 friends. This is the same person that had no respect for either of them. So you mean to tell me a guy who was invited to Kylie Jenner's house by Megan, was sleeping or allegedly dealing with Kelsey, sleeping with Meg Thee Stallion, gets in Kylie Jenner's face and disrespects Kelsey and Megan and tells them basically, shoe fly, I'm with Kylie, and flirting with Kylie, trying to get with Kylie in front of both Megan and Kelsey, disrespect them, but yet he is the same guy who has all of this honor to take a charge, and he's protecting Kelsey and he gonna take the charge and he didn't want to snitch. Well, what's the difference now? If a person who goes and takes a rap and they don't want to snitch, they don't snitch. So which one is it? Is he holding it down because he don't want to snitch, or is he just grasping at straws, trying to figure out a way to wiggle out of the situation and try to rile up public feelings so that he can get this pardon or whatever? Like, if you literally go into the situation and you don't have a true bias and you really analyze all of it, then you will realize, like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Why are their claims constantly changing? Why did Tory's bodyguard say he didn't even want to say, I saw Kelsey shoot? Oh, the bodyguard who was literally right there. You mean to tell me 5 shots go off? Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. You don't look back and see who got the... And y'all all right there. It's already been commotion. It's already funk. And Tory Lanes' bodyguard will not commit under penalty of perjury and say, I saw Kelsey fire that poop pew pew. All he says, oh, well, I seen Kelsey with it, but I didn't see who shot. After it goes boom, 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 and you're right there, and you don't, please. And that very same person is the person who you felt like you didn't need their testimony. The only other person that was on the scene, he showed up to court. And when he showed up to court, we all grabbing our imaginary popcorn back in 2022. We like, ooh, the driver's here. Let's hear what he say. And then he basically say, oh, we don't need him. We don't want to wait. We're not going to use him. Child, anyway. So, there's that. And so, period. So, I suggest you guys go watch Abba and Preach video. I think they did an amazing job of going through all of the manipulation and breaking it down and things like that. A lot of people also started to bring up the Desiree Perez situation with her daughter, and I am aware that she works for Jay-Z, and I'm aware that the situation with her daughter was jacked up, and I think that what happened in that situation is unfortunate and things like that nature. But I don't care. I'm not changing my position on how I feel about this. You're not going to bully a position change. So with that being said, I just wanted to make a dedicated video and leave it at that. If you guys are confused, you can definitely go back to my videos. You can definitely go and I'm not rehashing this every few months that they Tatiana sends in a super chat and she says Shawshank will get no redemption. Okay. Period. Somebody said it's a lot of male identifying women out here and they never see things from a woman's point of view. In their life, men are right and need defending. In other words, they're mammies. And we just gonna drop the mic right there. You know, I'm accused of being a mammy on occasion too, you know, but that's when I apply critical thinking. I don't just go with what a man say or what a woman say, you know. And girls have a tendency of only wanting you to go with the girl's perspective. And if you don't go with the girl's perspective, I've been accused of being a mammy too. So, hey, you know, we're going to drop the mic right there. But I go, for me, I know that wasn't directed towards me. That was directed towards the mammies. But for me, I go where the logic resides. Okay? I go where the logic resides. And that's just that on that. So, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. And thank you to Abba and Preach for doing an amazing job obliterating 36 hours later and using common sense and logic. And you're going to have all of the Tory stands up in arms, but who cares? Who cares? All right. Bye.